Some moments stay with you forever. The ones that chill your spine, make your heart race. In our years of investigating the unknown, we've uncovered things that left even the bravest among us shaken.
Prepare to witness the most chilling and haunted moments from our investigations as we delve deep into the shadows, exploring unsettling truths that challenge our understanding of reality and the very existence of the paranormal.
On this special Halloween episode, prepare yourself for a journey into the supernatural. These are the moments that left us with even more questions than answers. Welcome to the most haunted moments. I've been intrigued by the paranormal my whole life. I think it all started for me growing up in a haunted house. And as I've gotten older, I've continued experiencing things that just couldn't be explained. You're floating right here.
Yeah. That is clear as a bell. Wow. That is clear as a bell.
In 2019, I joined a local paranormal research group, and that has given me a community of support from those who understand and share this unconventional passion. But it's also opened up the opportunity for me to help others who might also be struggling with their own experiences and fear.
I've been into the paranormal since I can remember. From checking out 13 Alabama Ghosts and Jeffrey from my elementary school library to reading everything I could on ghosts, UFOs, ESP, astral projection, basically anything paranormal. But I think my fate was sealed when an old friend of my mother's came to stay with us for a weekend and told us ghost stories for hours. She was the first paranormal investigator I had ever met. From shadows in the dark to voices from the beyond, these are the moments that made us question everything.
We've been to some of the most haunted places in the South, and tonight we're bringing you our most haunted experiences.
The Moody Mansion is owned by Michael Allen and Jarrett New, and it's located in the historic city of Bessemer, Alabama. Ashley and I wanted to do a couple of live stream sessions and experiments, so I reached out to Michael and Jarrett, and they were happy to have us come in.
So we started the night with a live stream on social media, but we began experiencing activity almost immediately. We had not even finished setting up our equipment yet, and things were happening. You know, it's rare to actually catch something on camera, but this night, it was non-stop. I was in there explaining it, this chandelier...
There it goes.
Look at this, the chandelier is going. I pointed to the chandelier and okay.
We are literally the only people in the house, and
Explaining it, this chandelier...
There it goes.
Look at this, the chandelier.
There it goes.
The chandelier and okay.
We are literally the only people in the house, and I am nowhere near anything. Michael was staying at a neighbor's house while we conducted the live stream, so we called him to ask about the lights. He came over to check things out for himself, and we stepped outside for a bit, but when we started to return, we happened to catch the lights going on and off totally on their own.
Earlier, we were just walking around before we even got started, and we started having... Earlier, we were just walking around before we even got started, and we started having some activity happen. So, do I need to lock this?
No, you can leave it open.
Just leave it, it's fine. I'll get it.
And so we're going back into the house now. Let me get this. Oh, I can't turn it around. Craig and Michael didn't notice it at first, and honestly, it took me a couple of seconds to process it myself.
The Moody Mansion hosts an annual Christmas gala. Not long after we finished that episode, we attended the gala. Michael said that since that night, they really hadn't had much activity, but the ghosts seem to act up every time Ashley and I are there. It's almost as if they know we're there and they just want someone to show out for.
During the gala, I was sitting in the parlor with some others, and Michael walks in, and he noticed a lady who had a glass sitting on the table without a coaster, and he jokingly said, "Are we not going to use a coaster?" And almost immediately, before he could even finish getting the last word out, a crystal coaster that was sitting on the side table flies across the room, lands on the floor. It took all of our breath away. So if you go to the Moody Mansion, be sure to use a coaster.
One of our favorite types of locations to investigate are hospitals. There's just something creepy about them. Two of our favorites are Old Harriman Hospital and Old South Pittsburgh Hospital.
One piece of evidence that completely blew us away from Old Harriman Hospital was from the surgical room. We were doing a saturation session where we leave our recorders rolling and we leave the area to avoid contamination. So during the session, our recorders captured the sounds as if the room was full of people and no one was even near that area.
One of the most compelling things is that you can clearly hear what sounds like the ding of an elevator when there are absolutely no working elevators in the hospital.
One of my favorite clips from Old South Pittsburgh Hospital was captured on one of our GoPro cameras. We left a camera on room 307, and 45 minutes into the recording, the camera moves on its own. Sure, there could be a logical explanation as to why that could happen. I think it was something more.
I've been to Old South Pittsburgh Hospital when things got so crazy we had to leave in the middle of the night. Doors were shaking, furniture was being dragged across the floors. It's a pretty intense place.
There's an area at Old South Pittsburgh Hospital located in the basement called the Chapel. It's an area that gives a lot of people the creeps. People get touched, have shortness of breath, they feel a tightness in their chest, and a lot of people attribute that to something negative. So we conducted a 2-night investigation, and on the first night, I started having a strange sensation where I felt a tightness in my chest and had a nauseous feeling while I was in the chapel. My whole chest is tight and I feel like I'm about to throw up. I was fine a minute ago, but seriously, I feel like I'm about to throw up. It's so tight in my chest. I think sometimes it could be our own fear that makes us think that experiences like that are negative, when in reality, it could just be a spirit trying to communicate what they feel. I had an intuition that this could be the case and that someone was possibly trying to communicate a heart attack. So on night 2, I decided to do a solo session in the chapel to see if I could reach out to whomever might be causing these experiences there. Were you trying to communicate with us that something happened to you? Maybe your heart? I thought I heard a voice, but I don't know. Did you have a heart attack? And maybe we're just picking up on what you felt. You know, some people try to paint ghosts to be bad or evil when sometimes all you have to do is listen and feel to understand. The interesting thing to me is that after the investigation, on the Old South Pittsburgh Hospital Facebook page, they made a post about a doctor who had passed away from a heart attack. And sure, it's a hospital, so I'm sure there's probably a lot of cases of heart attacks. But I found this interesting because I had just talked to the rest of my group about believing a spirit was trying to communicate a heart attack. And then I see this post. Coincidence or not, it just further makes me believe that we should trust our intuition.
In West Virginia, we were fortunate to be able to do 2 separate locations, Sweet Springs Sanitarium and Lake Shawnee Amusement Park. While the locations and the trip in general were great, it was extremely cold, barely reaching above 20 degrees each night. We started our double investigation at Sweet Springs, which is now a resort, but from 1942 through 1945 it was called Old Sweet and was used as a sanitarium for tuberculosis patients.
Did y'all hear that?
I did.
You talking?
The Sweet Springs Sanitarium is pretty cool, but it's also pretty eerie. During our investigation, it was a pretty quiet night, but we did capture one video that made us raise a few eyebrows. I was walking down the 3rd floor to do a solo session, and I heard a knock to my side. So I stopped, I turned around to check it out, but I didn't see anything, so I continued along my way. But then I played my video back a few weeks later and saw a strange figure behind a door of one of the rooms. I've outlined the dark figure so that you can see the shape as it steps out. To me, it looks as if there's a head and a shoulder, as if someone was peeking out before disappearing behind the door again.
After an investigation, we have a ton of video and audio to review. Sometimes it takes us weeks. Unfortunately, that means we aren't always aware that we've captured possible evidence. Now, ideally, if we'd have known at the time that we had something in question, we could have investigated further, tried to determine if it was paranormal or if it could have been debunked. But that does give us a reason to go back and investigate again. Old State Bank is in Decatur, Alabama, and it's the first bank we've ever investigated. Now, we had a lot of activity and personal experiences throughout the evening, but the building itself has so much history. It was once a Civil War hospital, it was a saloon, and really it's no surprise that it would be a hotspot for paranormal activity. But one of our jobs as investigators is to take a claim and see if we can debunk it, find a logical explanation before determining something could be paranormal. We experienced a few things that we just couldn't explain. Several times we would hear a disembodied voice, such as a man whistling, a woman singing, and one that we actually caught on camera. Okay.
Are you not live, are you?
No. But I'm going to slate. That way we have a starting point.
Was that you, Jonathan? Did you hear that?
I did.
What was it?
A man's voice was...
That wasn't you?
I thought it was you, Craig.
No, it wasn't me.
Sound like what?
No.
In the hallway behind me.
No.
Okay.
Are you not live, are you?
No.
Live, are you?
No. But I'm going to slate.
The EMFs here were off the charts throughout the whole property. That's like...
Maybe that's why they're picking up so much activity, is because...
Yeah.
I mean, is this on ley lines or something?
High EMFs can cause headaches, hallucinations, nausea. So we came outside to get a sweep around the perimeter to see if we're still going to get those high EMF spikes. And we noticed that there was some kind of tower. We don't know if it's a radio tower or what, but we think that that might be what's putting the high frequencies out here that's causing a lot of the EMF spikes and the interference that's coming through the mic.
A radio tower with gutted broadcast equipment can still act as a conduit for frequencies. Even with other towers just a few miles away, a dead tower can still transmit and magnify signals functioning similar to an extender. This could explain why the tower still picks up signal from nearby sources, and it's very possible this is the reason they have high fluctuations of EMS signals in the area.
We ask ourselves, why are some locations haunted and others aren't? Everything has history. As investigators, we look for answers. Could a location like Old State Bank be feeding off these high EMFs?
The Drish House is located in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and is one of our favorite places to investigate. We always have activity and capture great evidence.
In our experiences, some of our best evidence can be captured when we're not even actively investigating. That was the case in the Drish House. While we were filming an interview before we were even ready to get our equipment set up, we caught some pretty interesting things.
We've also received some more information about a cousin of one of the entities that was murdered nearby, and we're going to introduce that for the first time tonight. So it's going to be very interesting. What is that? I think we just heard the Green Girls.
It was coming through my headphones too.
Yeah.
While we were filming, we all heard disembodied laughter, like a child giggling. There were only 5 of us in the building at the time, and we were all together.
Of one of the entities that was murdered nearby, and we're going to introduce that for the first time tonight. So it's going to be very interesting.
What is that?
So it's going to be very interesting.
What is that?
Time tonight. So it's going to be very interesting.
What is that?
I think we just heard the Green Girls.
It was coming through my headphones too.
Yeah,
Got it on here.
Sounds like someone.
I thought you were playing a video on your phone.
Was the girls giggling?
It was little girls.
Yeah, we just heard the Green Girls.
The really cool thing is that over a span of different investigations, we seem to capture the same voices, like the giggles. We've heard them before.
Pickens County Courthouse in Carrollton, Alabama is home to Alabama's most famous ghost story, the face in the courthouse window. Separately, we've had some very interesting evidence from our SLS camera and from our thermal cameras. This time, though, we were able to have both of them pick up on the same anomaly. This also comes after Ashley and I heard a child's voice during an earlier session.
David is using an SLS and a thermal camera. SLS stands for Structured Light Sensor and uses depth sensing technology, combining with a VGA camera, a monochrome depth sensor, an infrared projector, and a multi-array microphone, all commonly known as an Xbox Connect sensor. A thermal camera detects temperature differences and shows them as signatures, revealing things the naked eye cannot see. During their session, the SLS begins to map an unexplained figure. You can see Scott being mapped, along with another, smaller figure behind him, resembling a child. It even seems to be sitting in a chair near Scott, with his arm propped up on the back of the chair. David checked the thermal camera and noticed a temperature fluctuation right where the figure appears on the SLS. Could this explain the voice that Craig and I heard earlier? As this Halloween night draws to a close, remember, the veil between worlds is at its thinnest. What we've shown you tonight may be over, but for some, hauntings never end.
From restless spirits to lingering shadows, the paranormal is out there, waiting to be discovered.
Thanks for joining us on this journey through the most haunted moments. Stay curious, stay cautious, and always stay haunted.
Tonight we're in Old South Pittsburgh. I keep saying Old South. Tonight we're at.
You want me to say that part and then you say, so we're in Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. Hold on.
In Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
Old Pittsburgh. So yeah.
Because it needs to like sound very natural.
Right.
Hi, Mom.
No. So I brought my son. Introduce yourself.
Can we look at the camera? Is that fine?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm just.
Yeah.
My name is Tommy.
Booth.
My name is Tommy Booth. Let me redo that part.
I'm 20 years old.
I'm not gonna say I'm 20 years old. I'm Tommy. Let me redo that. I'm Tommy Booth. I am new to the Tuscaloosa Paranormal Research Group. And is that the name?
Yeah. Am I going cross-eyed because I feel like I'm going cross-eyed?
You're looking over there.
Okay.
It's right there!
Yeah.
Oh, right, it's over there.
Oh!
It's fast.
Yes.
It is fast.
Yo, I don't
I want to smack you in the face.
I don't want to get bit!
Oh, it is right there. Did it fire you?
Yes, it's right there! Oh!
There he is.
Craig, he almost beat your hand!
Oh, wow. How about the army crawl?
Oh, shit! It's moved down!
This is not the exciting part. Hello, Miss Darling. Paranormal.
This is the exciting part.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. If you want to see more videos or want to be a part of our live investigations, hit the subscribe button. Also, if you have any ideas for future investigations or want to share your own paranormal encounters, please feel free to leave a comment or send an email to crashmediaparanormal@gmail.com.